So how many of you guys are here for the first time today? Oh, nice. I think you guys will enjoy it. Those of you who have been here before kind of know the drill. What we are here today to experience together is 2 startups being built right here in this community. We are going to listen to them for 6 minutes each. Then we as an audience, it is incumbent upon us to ask questions, give advice, make connections, think through the mental Rolodexes that you all have around with you, and how we can connect the presenters up here to potential customers or people throughout their value chain to help them grow right here in Tampa Bay. My name is Sean, I'm the organizer for 1 Million Cups, along with Marianne, Betsy, Chris, JJ, Danielle, and Richard in absentia as usual in Kansas City. If you'd like more information about Million Cups, if you'd like to know who is presenting, how you can present, other things like that, you can always go to 1millioncups.com/St. Pete. We would not be here if it were not for the delicious coffee that many of you are enjoying right now from the fine folks at Kawa on non-Wednesday mornings. We highly encourage you to purchase their products at one of their 6 locations throughout Tampa Bay. They are delicious. They keep me standing upright, even after I've looked too closely at a virtual reality headset and blurred my vision. Something fierce. We have 2 awesome presentations today. Our first presentation, a lot of you guys have already heard about. They've been getting some great press coverage. Our awesome concept, downtown Tampa.
There's about 5 or 6 seats up here in front of you.
Welcome to downtown Tabby Cafe. How's your coffee? Does anybody need a warm up? Sugar? Well, what makes coffee better? Who doesn't like? Bitches. This is little Mal. She was a rescue. She was actually going to be put to sleep because her parents, her former owners, didn't get spayed and neutered mom. So, we have little Mal, and she couldn't be bothered to take care of kittens. So. She was almost put to sleep, but now she's here to make your day better. I hope no one's allergic. If you are, just stay away, but you are coming. You can come and pet her whenever after the second presentation. So, let's see. What's a cat cafe? It's a coffee shop housing cats for snuggling or adopting. It's good for a lot of different types of people. Maybe you have relatives that are allergic, you want to come, but you can't have one at home. It's also another location for people to adopt a cat in a happy environment. We'll have snacks, coffee. There's 31 all over the United States. They started in Asia, and it's a new thing. So our goals, we're going to save lives. For every 1 cat you will see at Downtown Tabby, you're actually saving 2 lives. One is the cat there. One is the cat that it made space for at another rescue. So, it's a fun, unique space. St. Pete has nothing like it. We hope to work with local bakeries, coffee shops, restaurants to have all our food catered in. We're going to educate people, maybe have a few little classes here and there on how to take care of cats at home. And again, we're going to save lives. Do you want to adopt from a shelter? Yes, absolutely. These are Pinellas County statistics for 2014. Shelter euthanasia, 4,105 cats out of the 8,800. More than half. What is 4,105 look like? Every penny counts. This is 4,105 lives. Little Mal is scared of the death.
Hey, where's the bunny?
That might happen at the cafe too. other out of the United States, London, Paris. Let's be like the new Hard Rock. Let's get one. Dog-friendly town. I have a dog. I love my dog, but there's nothing for cat lovers. Community. Cats know cats, like I said. I actually want to work with homes that elderly people can come if they can't have a kitty. Working with maybe All Children's Hospital, the kids that are healthy enough to come, have a day for them. Bridal showers, tea parties, little kids' birthdays. We're going to do kind of a stitch and bitch, which is a sewing circle. So that'll be fun. And saving lives, one cup of coffee at a time. Questions?
How do you populate your home, your cat cafe? You have people, invite people to leave their cats for a day, or what, how is it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear so much of that. I think you're asking where the cats come from?
Yeah, do you invite people to leave their cats for a day, or?
No, actually, we're going to be working with the local shelters. SBC has already contacted us, as well as Friends of Strays. I've been in the veterinary field for 10 years. I know all the cat people. I will have no shortage of rescue kitties. We hope to feature a different rescue as often as adoptions allow. Yes.
How do you get rid of the odor, the stink, and the allergies?
Well, if you're super allergic, unfortunately it's not for you, but we're going to clean the litter boxes daily, well, several times a day really, and we're going to have a separate area for the boxes, which won't be out for the public, so, which usually 4 to 6 times a day will be changed.
Actually, I have some water you need to look into. They'll solve all your problems.
Nice. Very nice. Yes.
2 questions. What's your name?
I'm Ginger. I'm sorry. Did I forget that part?
And will the cats, kitties stay there overnight? Will they go back to shelters overnight? Is it a 7/24 operation?
They're going to live there. Cats don't travel well. If any of you have ever tried to take your cat to bed. Noises. So yeah, they'll live there. And was there a question?
First one, you answered.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they'll live on site. With that is a zoning issue. I have to be industrial. I cannot be with my fun neighbors that I want to be with on Central Avenue or downtown. I have to be industrial, which is fine because Warehouse Arts District is awesome. I can be there. And there's a cute little place on 16th. So we're looking at that.
And how many, oh, I'm sorry. I agree. How many cats can accommodate, or would that be dependent on the size of the location?
Exactly.
I'm done.
Yes.
I was curious, is this a for-profit venture or a not-for-profit venture?
Well, we have to start out with doing it as LLC, but we're going to go nonprofit as quickly as we can. When I started this idea, I was planning on applying for my nonprofit, but then it all happened so quickly, I was like, I got to get this out here. And sometimes applying for nonprofit can take some time, and I didn't want somebody to beat me to it.
How do you get past the issue of food and kitties?
I can only have prepackaged food.
Okay.
So in the cafe, we'll have things catered in, hopefully from local restaurants and cafes. There will be a separation from the coffee station as well. So there will kind of be like a kiddie playroom.
Okay.
And then a separate coffee bar area. And then you can yourself take things into the cat area.
Like McDonald's.
Kind of. There won't be a ball playpen then. Well, maybe. Now, are you okay now? Any other questions? Yes.
I understand your intention to make it not-for-profit, but do you consider, like, I'm thinking like Porter's out at the coffee shops in most, right? Because they want you to spend time there and spend money in the coffee shop. Couldn't you even help more, more accounts potentially if you had a model of we're going to sell like high-end cat treats and like a miniature pet store, a coffee shop, a shelter, your rescue area, and then potentially if you show that's profitable, then you may be able to potentially franchise that and grow it even faster and save cats even faster. So I'm just wondering, is it not-for-profit just because you're thinking I want to save cats, so going that direction, or is there a specific reason
so new that I really don't have a lot of mentors. I've been talking to the gentleman in San Diego who runs his cat cafe. So some are for profit, some are not for profit. It's kind of a wait and see, but we do plan on having cat treats and fun things like that for sale. Yes.
Just feeding off what he said, you could consider having a business like that that's for profit, but also setting up a nonprofit that would be a shelter that existed in the same space.
Yes.
And then just have your for-profit act as a benefit corporation on all profits in, and it will encourage people to donate. You can kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yes.
So how exactly does it work? Say I come in and buy a cup of coffee. Am I paying like an hourly rate to play with the kittens, or how does that work out?
I think St. Pete's more relaxed. The Cat Cafe in New York actually does reservation only and cover charge. Yeah. Wow. So it's like studio for cats, studio 89. But I think St. Pete's is a little more relaxed. So I'm planning on charging, a little bit more for the coffee to help cover the cost of the cats. Not a whole lot more, but somewhat. You buy your coffee and you get your time with the cats. If it's not busy, we're not going to kick you out. We want it to be very relaxed. Now, if there's a line around the block, what we'll have to do is on busy days, kind of limit the time. So maybe 20, 30 minutes with the cats, and then give the cats a little break, and then the next group of people in. So we just kind of have to wait and see how it goes.
So what's the process for getting cats into your business? How does that work?
Into the building, like.
How do we get a cat involved? Are you taking them directly from the shelter? Or?
Yes, and rescues. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue.
Before the owners of the shelter, let's say somebody had a cat, that cat just had a whole bunch of kids, and they didn't want to take it to the town and take it to the shelter. Could they just take it directly to you?
Unfortunately, no. We're not going to be able to take in just the public cats as a regular shelter would for the safety of the cats. They really do need to be dropped off at a rescue or shelter. I do have veterinarians that are interested in helping and being on staff, like on call, and an advisory panel with local business owners, shelter workers. But to answer your question, no, unfortunately, because of the safety of the cats that are already there, I don't want to expose them to anything. I'm sure somebody someday will drop something off at my door, and I will deal with that when it happens. Yes?
You mentioned something that brought to mind distress on the cats. Give them a break. What's your plan on that? I mean, obviously, if you got a line around the building, you don't want to say, well, you got to wait half an hour while the cats are taking away.
Unfortunately, it's just going to have to be that way.
Well, could you rotate the cats? Bring some out, keep some in reserve, and then bring them out?
Depending on the space we have, that's a very good possibility. But I just don't know where we're going to be renting from and how we can set it up.
Have you prioritized who you want to partner with on this as far as what resources we can bring you? So, like, what people should we be introducing you to? That kind of stuff?
I am very interested in, and I just got another email this morning from SPCA. Their main shelters in Largo, and they have actually received comments that people in St. Pete don't want to drive all the way to Largo to adopt. So they are high on my radar.
Any businesses? I mean, like pet food stores that could drop stuff. I mean, what do you look? Who are you looking to partner with to help you get resources to make it work?
Myself and cat lovers. I'm definitely gonna Kickstarter. Yes, I'm definitely have flyers that are going to be delivered this afternoon. They weren't here in time for today, but it's got the Kickstarter. It's got everything on it. So we're going to drop those off at pet stores. We're going to drop those off at shelters. We have another fundraiser comedy club style event coming up in October. But I mean, people who are interested are kind of coming to me, which I'm surprised and happy about.
What you looking for?
To start, 33,000. There was a lady on Shark Tank, that was not me. She's on the other coast of Florida. She's trying to do the same thing. She asks for a lot of money, so I don't know if her neighborhood is just more high rent or she had different ideas, but I think I can do it for much less. I think 33 is a good start.
What does a 33 get you as far as time? You're estimating some type of rent?
Depending on the rental cost, I'm hoping to cover 2 to 3 months rent and deposits on the utilities, minor construction, making sure everything is up to code. I'm gonna have to put in a sink most likely for the coffee station. I may have to upgrade the bathroom, and then buy all the cat supplies as well.
You know how many kind of pet counts you need, how many cups of coffee you need to be selling to maintain your?
Yes, depending on the numbers of, like I said, again, the rent, to sell probably somewhere between 30 to 50 cups of coffee a day, which is doable.
Sean could do that himself.
Yes.
You have city approval already? The Department of Health is, you're providing cats?
Yes, I've been talking to Department of Agriculture actually, as long as I don't have a kitchen. Food cannot be prepped there, it all has to be prepackaged. And then the cats are separated. I'm still having trouble of getting an exact answer how many feet away the coffee needs to be from the cats. But everybody I've contacted with the City of St. Pete, Department of Agriculture, State of Florida, nobody's told me no.
That's great.
It sounds like a good way to go is to try to get donations and partnerships from the major pet companies, so be Petco or Pet Supermarket or whatever, and be able to have a sign in there saying that the food supplied by or donated by them to the cat litter.
Yes.
That would be a great way.
And local veterinarians, maybe after someone adopts a cat, and you recommend a veterinarian or two that they take for shots, checkups.
Yes, that's also going to depend on whose cat it is that gets adopted. So if it's a Friends of Strays cat, they may have a particular veterinarian they use. Or they may say, take it to any veterinarian, whatever the adoption contract is that we agree upon. I don't want to stick to one veterinarian necessarily, because I want them to have their choice. And I don't want them to think, well, first you're going to send me to your veterinarian, they're going to tell me it's a healthy cat. So I want them to kind of have the choice. Any other questions?
So the cats coming in from the SPCA, whatever, or the Friends of Cats, they've already had, what, some shots around?
Oh yeah, they'll all be
They're
feline
already
leukemia tested,
yeah,
they know tested, the shots up to date, spayed, neutered. Yeah, they're good to go.
Can you kind of explain to me, I know you've done it with different questions for your presentation, like where you are as far as being so far out from opening? I know you talked about the different types of spaces you're looking for. You know, do you need help with finding a location? Do you have an ideal location? How far out are you?
I need to be in the industrial zone. If you know any cat-friendly landlords, that's a little bit of a challenge. Not everybody wants 20 cats in their building, but not everybody does. So yes, we need to find a cat-friendly landlord in the industrial zone.
What about your square footage?
I'll work with what I get. I just have to see and figure it out from there. So whatever opportunity presents itself, I'll have to figure it out.
Have you run numbers or anything like that? As far as, I mean, when you're not sure about your square footage, oftentimes when you open a retail space, you're looking at, you know, like how much you can sell per square foot, so you're reasonable. And
yeah, I've done a little bit of that, but the numbers aren't finalized, so I didn't want to say anything incorrect, so I didn't. Still working on it to get exact.
So that was really my question, is have you run several models and you're trying to figure out? I'm a little bit skeptical about that 30 to 50 cups a day. I don't think you're going to be able to cover your expenses with that. So, I mean, you really have
fixated on like I have to get the space, I have to go rent, or the rent. Why not bring the coffee to the cats? So since you're going to be in the same zone as probably the shelters themselves, which is a whole industrial zone, maybe it's not one city, maybe it's one just nearby. But is there a shelter that has something, maybe they're using it as a storage room now, where you could put a cafe in an existing shelter? They rotate in, 5 or 10 cats that they know are friendly, and and then you don't have to move your inventory around at all. You can actually bring more people to the shelter. The shelters already have marketing and partnerships with, for instance, Grace already has a lot of partnerships through the city.
Yes.
So wouldn't it be great if they could do the marketing for you and say, hey, I'm having a cup of coffee and hanging out with the cats. You don't have any real overhead to do it. And then you keep the proceeds from selling the coffee, the shelter benefits because they would be more cats adopted, and you don't have to raise anything. Aside from maybe buying full coffee machines,
Right.
That might be able to raise, 10 grand from the community instead of a coffee shop and shelter, and then see if people will actually go and hang out and maybe on the cats.
That's a really good angle. I never thought of it that way. I like it. I really want it to be its own space though.
But
so that's definitely a good start.
Right, so like, you start one, we got a great idea of funding now, but a coffee shop and shelter, if everybody's flocking to it, you're selling a lot of coffee, you use the money from selling that coffee, and say, I'm going to branch out and do my own thing, separate from the shelter, or maybe that model's working great, and other shelters across the country now, then again, you potentially solve the problem of saving on one pass, because now you're bringing more people to the shelters.
No, I totally disagree. You're changing her entire model that she already has spent a lot of time and effort setting it up. You stick with your gut, you stick with what you're going for. You need to go find some investors, and there are friendly investors that will do this funding. You just need to bigger numbers, a bigger warehouse, think bigger, and you'll receive the money. You can start as a profit and then slide right into a nonprofit. You'll have no issue with that.
Have you considered doing like a membership program to help kick it off the ground? Say people who are passionate about cats, they may pay $20 a month just to be able to come see you and see the cats, and then you sell them coffee. So you don't need the coffee, put yourself afloat. Get those people in there, and by the way, tell them, hey, once I get my first 100 people, I can pay my rent and start this thing.
Yeah.
So, because I'm sure there's some cat lovers in this room that give you $20.
We have kind of tossed around some different membership type ideas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So yes, we are kind of thinking questions.
People love to support you.
Just from a legal standpoint, have you considered, like, since there's going to be a lot of interaction with the cats and not a lot of people are necessarily so friendly or how to kind of deal with animals, are you required to present any type of disclosure when you're interacting with the cats in case?
We have been thinking about a little waiver before they enter the cat room.
You probably have to be declawed too.
I'm done for. I'm sorry.
Have you thought about who exactly you're going to be partnering with on the coffee side and how you're going to run that part of it?
Well, I have a very experienced barista. So in the beginning, it's probably just going to be the two of us and an espresso machine that she knows how to run. We're working on a menu right now.
So one thing to think of would be like the Oxford Exchange model. So they have Buddy Brew in their facility, and the caveat with that is I know a cohort Ebor does the same exact thing, where Buddy Brew pays them a monthly rent and supplies the employees. So that might be something to think of, because I know cohort Ebor, they were able to get such a large space on 7th Ave because of the fact that they knew they had that reoccurring revenue from Buddy Brew. So that might be something just to think about, to talk with them, or maybe a Kawa coffee, and then that's less overhead on your part.
I was thinking about Kawa too, because they're doing well. So why would they not want to add cats at just one spot? But yes, that's a good idea. You guys are full of good ideas. Yes.
That's why we're here.
Since you need the licensing to store cats already, store cats, maybe not the right word, but
assembly.
You may want to consider either cat daycare or cat kenneling. Because the numbers on that, if you took in 20 cats for a kennel at $10 a cat, now you're doing $200 a day. You're covering a lot of overhead.
This is true, but then those would be someone else's cats that I'd be housing, and I'd make money and people would get to pet cats, but I wouldn't be saving any lives. So while a good idea for someone else, it's not exactly what I'm going for.
Good answer.
Thank you for today. I just want to ask the final question is, can you reiterate like what we as a community can do for you to help downtown Tabby?
Tell everybody. Tell everybody you know. Spread the word. The more people that know about it, the more people that are going to want to help. And I can find my cat-friendly landlord. I can find someone that might have a good angle on the numbers and help me out with that. I need help. I've been in the pet business for 10 years, and running the front office of that is a lot different than what I'm about to jump into. So, yeah, tell everybody, help me out.
Do you have contact info?
Your Kickstarter?
Yep. There's the Downtown Tabby St. Pete Facebook, there is my Downtown Tabby St. Pete @gmail.com, there's a Twitter, we're working on building the website right now. Okay.
Thank you. There were cupcakes up here if you guys didn't hear it. So normally I'm up here to talk about the events, but we'll link you to all of those at the end of our email at the end of the week. But we actually have a past presenter. Carson, do you want a couple minutes up here? So Carson, if you guys don't remember, he has Omna, the company that has the tourniquet leashes, and he just started an Indiegogo campaign. If you want a couple minutes just to show the people that maybe weren't here.
Yeah, so this was the surfboard tourniquet leash, and it comes in two different configurations. One for surfers, and the other one comes without the leash. It's for divers and spear fishermen. So it's pretty simple. Actually, everybody can see that. You wear it around your ankle whenever you need it. Pull this out. It goes through here. And the belt goes back on itself. You open this up, crank it until it shuts off the bleeding and locks in place. So right now we have an Indiegogo campaign going on, so if anybody wants to contribute or donate, we've got a lot of different perks and different things like that, so just come see me afterwards.
And we'll also link to it at the end of our at the end of the week with the email. It'll be in there as well, the Indiegogo campaign. Thanks, Carson. All right, so next up we have our one and only Sean Williams coming up to present Hot 9. So please give him a warm round of applause.
Good morning. How's everybody today? I'm usually in the back, by the way, so you probably haven't seen me because I'm staring at the back of your heads while you guys are all asking these great questions. So today, I get to stand up front so you guys get to see who's behind you, throwing questions out to other people. By the way, SlideShare, everybody heard of this? This is great. This is a test. It's going to be a little bit awkward, but I promise it won't be like that. How many of you want to be an architect? Okay, how many thought the math was going to be a little too hard? Right, something like this. The answer is one, by the way. Or so they tell me. It's not really that difficult. Being an architect is really about vision. And it's really about, can you see the potential opportunity here? It's going to lead into what our problem is today. We're architects at OT9. Not the IT variety, the ones that are the second oldest profession, right behind that other profession. Although we get treated the same. Why are we here? We want to create contacts for this product that we're developing, and it's got all the beginnings of an ecosystem that's going to change the way that you interact with buildings, space, information. It's really the collaboration of big data with big egos and big buildings, if that makes sense. We need to figure out where the potential markets are, and that's what I'm going to try to hopefully present to you today. So the problem is clients can't see architecture, okay? Even though we're in it every day, we can't see it. We show them this, or this. These are floor plans, by the way, in case you can't see the back, or in the front if you're confused about what the lines were. And all they really see is that. Spent all this time. Like, oh, there's a toilet. Okay. For the bedroom. Or grandma's kitchen. What we really need them to see is this. Why do we need them to see this? We need them to see this because they've approached us with a problem. By the way, I'm growing at 200%. I need space. I'm moving to a new area. We as the architects have to put on the legal cap, the artistic cap, the doctor's cap, to make sure that we provide enough space for them to grow based on the problem that they presented to us. In this case, American Express Service said, we're growing from 35 people up to 75 people. We really want an interesting space, by the way. They're all millennials, and we need to keep them here, otherwise they're going to go to other tech companies. How many of you have had to deal with that when it's not your company trying to keep millennials at the other company? We need them to see something like this. 1960s existing iconic architecture in this area. Tried for 30 years to get a gymnasium. And we succeeded. We were able to show not only the client, but also the city that, hey, it can be done. By the way, this is Grace Lutheran. It's on 16th Street, Haines Boulevard. When you're doing a gymnasium, by the way, the fire marshal says, you said church, right? Because church also means not just kids playing basketball, but we want to see the weddings, we want to see everything else that they're possibly going to be doing. So you need to show us what it looks like here. And oh, by the way, everything you thought it was going to be, it can't look that way. And you're trying to describe this to the client along the way. Oh, it's going to change. I promise it'll look just as good as it did here. Trying to show residential clients. By the way, residential clients are some of the hardest clients to get to see what we're trying to do. The reason why is because residential clients typically don't deal with architecture in the same way that commercial or institutional clients deal with. They're used to, they walk into their house, they have memories of grandma's house, they have memories of where they went to. Hospital lobbies. Lots of problems here. Really need to showcase not only to the community, but also to the owner how this is going to work. How are we going to do this? Tools. AR, how many have heard of augmented reality? This is not a really new technology. It's been around for 13 years. We're trying to leverage it in a new way. We're trying to leverage it with another technology called virtual reality. How many have heard about this? Phenomenal. Okay, these two getting married together are what we're trying to develop to help people see space. By 2018, it's projected to be a $4 billion industry. I'm not looking for $4 billion today, but tomorrow we'll have a conversation. I'm looking to develop the tools for this $4 billion industry through architecture to help facilities folks when they need to train people. By the way, in the facilities in architecture and construction, in the next 5 years, you're going to see an interesting transition as the boomers move out of the industry and the millennials come in. That means we have a training issue. This fills that gap in that training issue by allowing individuals to take iPads, iPhones, Androids, or any other device and be able to look through it and see things like the fan, what circuit it's plugged into, without having to read through what brand and where it's at. How can you guys help? Friends with projects, clients with projects, friends with clients with projects, projects, concepts, good projects, sometimes bad projects, unique projects, big and small. And we just need projects because we need to keep testing this. And after this, I'll show you, I have a whole bunch of experimental clients that we've been testing. They came out okay to work with. I brought Google Cardboard, which is a VR box that allows you to use your phone to see it. So if you guys give me a little bit of time, I'll set that up over there afterwards so you guys can actually experience some of the projects that I showed up here and explain the product that we're looking to develop a little bit further. That's our website. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other fun stuff. But if you go to the website, you'll actually get there a little bit quicker. And we are Hot 9 Design. Thank you. By the way, Sean told me there weren't going to be that many people here because This was supposed to be like the day before school starts. Yes.
So it seems like this would be right for like the Internet of Things. You have plans for integrating smart devices and stuff into your virtual reality world?
Absolutely, and actually we're experimenting on our own office. So we purchased, for instance, LifeX lamps, the August lock. We're combining these two devices, so when you unlock the door, the lights turn on, and we're trying to get it so when the other architects walk in, they log in, their actual light turns on, or the lights turn on the way they want to. This is kind of, those are fun, by the way, you know, you get on those toys. But really, it's taking the idea of Internet of Things and combining it with the iPhone, so that way when that facilities person is in this space, for instance. By the way, one of the most difficult things that I have to deal with is I can't locate somebody inside of a space exactly yet. If I'm outside, I can get you within 3 to 5 feet. But if I'm inside, I can't say you're right here and you're looking at that air conditioning duct, and that air conditioning duct is connected to that air handler, which is running at 30% capacity, 55 degrees. That's what we want to do, and that's what we're working on. So we're building the data and the models that have the intelligence, so as we develop the technology, it's moving into that space.
Are you going to be able to do that with existing buildings or only with new buildings?
Absolutely with existing. In fact, a lot of the stuff you're going to see here that I'm going to show you today deals with existing and new, and in the case of the church, with the gymnasium, it's a combination of the two. And in that case, what we're actually working on with HD Interactive, which you may have seen in the presentation here with Kevin Hall, he's going to get us to take our VR and allow us to walk through the space with the Oculus Rift. We're going to create the algorithms to develop that for other architects, so they can also have the same experience with their clients and be able to work on that. So this is where the architect, oldest, second oldest profession, meets the architect of the newest profession, and we're trying to combine those two roles. In that case, we want to be able to sit out on the job site and also do timeline, so the client can see where the building is in comparison to where we said it was going to be, where the contractor said, and that'll allow for them to understand how much money is being spent, because we can time money, and this is where the Internet of Things comes into that. The Internet will have the real-time data from the sensors that we hope to build into it. There was one over here, and I'll get back to you.
Yes, so you're using Unity or what software are you using?
Unity is the engine that we're using right now. Okay. The engine I'll show you here comes out of Autodesk. It's a straightforward stereo panel that you'll see, but it gives you the idea. When we go to the Oculus Rift, which becomes public in about 6-7 months, we'll be able to bring the whole system in here and kind of sit through the roller coaster. We hope nobody pukes, but we'll try to keep this.
I have a Rift, and I can't sit through the whole roller coaster.
Somebody else was telling the same thing.
I was just thinking about this here, and it'd be kind of wonderful to be able to have that. There's so many questions about the pier and what it's really going to look like, but that might be a wonderful way of applying this technology, plus giving you the platform.
Absolutely. Well, here's the other thing that benefits on the model side of it. How many of you guys remember the Brady launch? Remember that model we kept building over and over again? That's how you save money, by the way. You just showed the client the same model, so you didn't have to spend the $50,000 to build the model over and over again. The neat part about what we're proposing is the construction documents that we're doing, we're going to hand the client. If they change, so does the model. So the model is the construction document. So unlike the images that you saw here that are static, we're actually now able to almost real time give you exactly what the changes are. So when the city says, you're not allowed to have the cast next to the coffee, we can change that and then render that up and send it back out, and then people can weigh in on it. For American Express, by the way, everybody loves to challenge us. They wanted 2 options that they could switch between so that their employees could vote. Talk about democracy and architecture. Yeah. So they're getting these AR models and this little VR hood, and they're going to sit there and vote based on the links that they choose and which ones they like best.
But that's good. Now you get to charge them double because you said 2%.
They cut my fee in half, actually. Yes, sir.
So I understand the interaction with the client. You just said the model becomes the plans to work to. How do you train the crafts to work with a model instead of prints?
A model's worth 10 million words. Just think about the visual data and the graphics that you get to have with the 3-dimensional model. And if we go back just only 10 years ago, where architects were still building models, you could win or lose a client based on the quality of that model. What we're trying to do is do that quality of model in real time and allow contractors to have their input. By the way, I don't know how many of you know that the industry is changing. It's no longer the architect sits in his ivory tower, draws something up and hands it down to the people below. It's an integrated project delivery system that's coming about, where I've got to play nice in the sandbox with the contractor, all the other design friends, the owner's attorneys, the owner's doctor. Everybody's got to come into the same model, and I've got to develop something that democratically got put together. So the systems are sort of colliding so that there won't be this massive transition between the two. And when you look at the millennials versus the boomers, it's really the only thing that kind of translates between the two. So, you know, they can literally sit out there in the field and say, that air handler, that's what this looked like on the drawing. And we can cycle between the two. Yes, sir?
I'm a little confused as to what you're building your business to. You're not building a VR tool, correct?
Correct. We're building
because those are built. And you provide the services today of building a VR model, right? So what is that middle value proposition that you're going to develop?
So right now you've got people that build VR technology and gaming systems. By the way, it costs millions of dollars to build those and a few $100,000. Then you've got a little architecture firm with 3 people over here just up the road that's putting together these buildings that these gamers are building for millions of dollars. We're actually building them, but in the modeling sense, we're building them for a fraction of the cost. We have clients that really want to see this so they understand what their assets and investments are really going to turn out to be. And these two don't meet. And ironically, here's what happened. In the 80s when the architects got cut, they went into Hollywood and they started this whole architect IT thing because they knew computers, they knew three-dimensional design. CAD was already being used three-dimensionally in 1980, and now we're competing with ourselves. They've kind of started these two prototypes. So we're the service is going to bridge those two and start this foundation. Now, we're also working on design interface. We're experimenting with coding and tools. You'll see in one of the AR models over here, we've actually worked on buttons where we can switch between models. So when my business development person goes out there, they can actually show our portfolio on our business card without having to call these models out there and say, hey, you know, we did this for $2.5 million. And, you know, trying to walk in the door. And then we have to insure the car, the people. It's just a mess.
So today it's architectural services with a twist. And
yes.
You're working on tools to enable your architectural services.
Correct. The architecture, construction, and engineering industry. Basically the AEC realm is where we're focused.
So is your vision to create those tools and then provide those tools to new architects and construction people so they can facilitate
yes.
the same thing that you do?
Correct. So I'm literally going to fund my competition with the tools that I'm developing today.
That's fine.
Like everybody went at the same time, so I'm going to go this way.
Yes, sir. Where are you in the competitive landscape? What are your competitors doing, if any? Are they ahead of you? Are you ahead of them?
So it's a small market for architecture. I know of 5 architects currently doing it around the country, using augmented reality as a basis. Virtual reality is a little more developed in that sense, but more for the gaming, not so much for architecture. I can tell you that in talking with Autodesk, which is the largest provider for AEC tools, they're working on, past employer and myself are trying to develop some of this technology for the AEC stuff to potentially go through this Autodesk.
Are patents an issue for you?
Are what?
Patents, intellectual property patents?
They absolutely will be, and that's what we're working to develop through interface, through process, and through the technology that we're going to start to develop, not only in the devices you're going to use to view it, but also in potential rooms that are smaller and more affordable for clients to be able to walk into. There.
Are you going to be using any 3D printing in your architecture?
No, and here's why. 3D printers are great, but it puts us right back to the same problem we had before. By the way, I mean, architecture has been the same since Imhotep back in Egypt, 3980 or BC, one of those things back there. We take some tool, we sketch or etch on some medium, and then we hand it to the client and say, interpret this. And then we built models, and I'm sure they built some kind of sand castle and said, this is the pyramid. That's kind of, I think that they're just reiterating on the 3D printing, that same thing. It works really good for prototyping. So when we want to see how this pose connects with that beam, and we really want to study it as designers, it makes sense. But for me to sell it to a client, there's nothing there.
It's actually related to what I was going to suggest. Yes, but I understand the value of augmented reality and virtual reality because it really doesn't apply. But and all of that is already highly invested in 3D printing design tools and stuff too. You should consider that as a final prototype, you know, as a presentation to a client. People still like that tactile sensation.
The peripheral information that you get from that, and I invite anybody to come over my office. We actually have turned our office into an AR kind of test kitchen. And we have a model we built, and you can go around and have this AR integrated into the physical model. It looks like hell, but the AR is really cool. So we understand that the process of it is just, you know, pick your investment poison, right? Where do you want to spend your time?
And maybe it's a buddy business or some other.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
there's laser cut companies around here that build the models.
You build an API and some other company, you know, plug into that and do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Could you speak to how the tool you're developing may assist the commercial real estate world in the visualization of space or visualization of the building? I struggle with that in commercial real estate areas where you have a presentation exactly what I go through day in, day out.
Absolutely. So we worked with Colliers in the past with larger individuals, and what we tried to, by the way, realtors for some reason don't like the tool because they can't necessarily walk the client through it. So what we're trying to figure out is, well, how can we help the realtor walk the client through so that way they can explain and express what they want to express about the space. The great thing about this for realtors is we can do it for the same cost that you do with typical renters. Sorry, I don't want to touch it. So there's a very cost-effective approach when you're doing feasibility studies. So somebody comes in, you have a client, and you know we can literally scan the space and say, this is what it looks like, and then we insert the virtual reality camera right in the exact same space, build that model, and put them in. This is what it would really look like if we fit this out. What we're trying to do in the next step is say, okay, as you're looking at stuff, you can turn on the price model and say, okay, I want this option, and I want that option. Okay, this option with that option means that I can do this, and I want to take that wall away. You know, so that way it's interactive, VR, AR together, and that's where, as you were asking about the patentable stuff, is coming into play. There's a lot of silos in the AR and the VR. We're looking to put them both together so that way you can have a complete interactive immersion.
That aspect of what you just said, is that going to be exclusive to a firm that purchases it? And is it that portion of that model, or could it be a generic product that any commercial real estate company could be accessed?
We're probably about 5 or 8 years. We are probably 5 or 8 years from making a generic tool that we can just hand out to anybody, but that's our focus and goal. We know right now it's going to cost about $200,000 for developers to come on. We're working with a guy out of Boston to help design the interface. We really need to know what we don't know on the client side and the different models. You know, so we've got residential now, we've got institutional, we've got commercial. We're working on actually urban planning and municipal assets. So somebody had asked, does it work with existing buildings? Absolutely. We're trying to work with the city of St. Pete, so you can drive around St. Pete and you can see how much power is being used from each building, because you know that's where tax money and stuff is going. So from that extent, we can also add in real-time, loop data into that, because we've got the internet connectivity that gets back to your internet thing. Sir?
I was wondering if there would be a way to test maybe environmental factors of making buildings more eco-friendly or sustainable by doing different tests when it's in the virtual environment.
Absolutely. In fact, so we'll test energy calculations. We'll test fluid dynamics for air. A lot of these finished products have gone through solar studies to understand the solar impacts. We need to balance daylight with energy usage. By the way, your lights cost you more in operating budget than you can kind of expect, because when the lights are on, the mechanical engineer designs the air conditioning for the number of lights that you have in here plus the people. So if you reduce the number of electric lights, you can reduce your mechanical side, so it's a 2-for-1 reduction. So we go through those experiments. And in fact, I don't see at your sensor fact, we're going to work with them on taking some of their sensor data and trying to say, well, what would a building look like if you use carrier? What would it look like if you use train? And what if we went all LEDs? What if we went half LEDs? And we can start to compare that. Now, we're getting a lot of cost data, which is great. And that's how we're going to plug this into the internet and allow this to be more real time and for the location that you're at.
Do you expect that in the blurry environment of construction that people will be using their tablets to read the plans, the carpenter or the
Oh, they
roofer?
do. They do.
Yeah.
In the realm of the AR stuff, it's kind of slick. Actually, we can set up cameras that they're going to have set up, and that's in our specifications. We want you to take so many pictures a day, so people can see it on the net and say, "Ooh, they're great architects." This we can actually use through the lens of that existing camera. We can put the AR in, so the project manager can sit inside the office and see where production is, see if these guys are on time, if they need to, raise their schedule, increase their man hours, and without technically going on the job site. So PMs can start watching each other to reduce that cost on the construction side.
Yeah, along with that, in terms of mobile apps to support the tools, I think you had mentioned controlling something with an iPhone or something like that. What technologies are you looking to build those? I know you mentioned Unity before for the modeling piece itself, but what about the cross-platform apps?
So there's going to be obviously it's going to have to be an internet server of some sort to be able to build stuff, and we need to be able to read sensor data and in a real-time manner, not just kind of, all right, maybe tomorrow, okay, we'll come back. It's got to be real-time, so when I hold the device up there, it knows where I'm at, it understands that. So obviously we need internet connection. Cellular connection is probably going to have to come up because what if we're dealing with a suburban site that doesn't have internet connection? So we started thinking about those issues now and seeing how we can develop that in there. Creating on-site servers just for projects specifically, and that comes as a service, not necessarily as a development. We already do this really with the integrated project delivery for government projects. So if we're working with the Air Force or the Marines or anybody like that, or GSA in fact, the government now requires that we buy a server, we put it on site, and then all the AEC folks use that specific server. So when we're done, we just unplug, they get the server, and they have the drawings with the 3D model that they're plugging into their business information systems or building automated systems. So our 3D models will start to show, where the windows are, how much light's hit the windows, by the way, so they can dim the lights or turn them up brighter, stuff like that. I mean, we're there, they're here, we're kind of here, and we need to be up here, if that makes sense. So we're going to be that bridge. Architect first, this second, if they both work, I'm the bridge guy. If not, then I'm sitting out here with you guys drinking more coffee, figuring out how to do this.
So how far away are you from having something that you can sell to others? What is that?
Right.
And how do you anticipate delivering that?
So right now we are soliciting to our clients, and we're just saying, hey, if you're willing to let us use you as a test subject, we'll do this for you as part of our design fee. By the way, I don't charge those premium, ivory tower, I'm not there yet. So we're already there, we're testing it. Now to get to the generic thing, like I said, it's been 5 to 8 years before we finally get this developed, because we're trying to pull in revenues from that, we're trying to see where the real value is, because as we found with realtors, they're not interested. They're like, wow, this would be great, you can actually go out before the house is even done, developers could show everything. And they don't even have to build a model home, they have to spend that $100,000 to build a model home. They can show them exactly what it looks like. You know what they told us? Way too much. It's like $1,500. I'm telling $1,500. Way too much. I'm not interested. So that's why we're trying to figure out where that market really is. Because he's saying he'd rather build a 50,000 or 100,000 square foot, $100,000 building than have a digital model in person.
So I thought I understood that you were thinking about developing this and selling it to other architects.
Absolutely.
So
And that's
where I was going.
Right. So that's what we're in the process of developing, and I think that's probably 5 to 8 years before we finally get that resolved. Now, if I can go quicker, absolutely. And I think that as these things become a little more public and open source, we're going to be able to steal some and put this together a lot faster. But again, when you're splitting time between, hey, the client wants to see this, the client wants to see that, and trying to develop that, we got to figure it out. So what I've done is I've actually split my firm in half, and I have one group working in Sarasota, and the other guys up here doing the production. And these guys are supposed to focus on how to make this experience better for the client. So we're using it as an R&D for ourselves, but we're developing this product on the side.
What is the technology and who's doing this?
So what is the technology and who's doing it? So we were originally using a system called Juneo for the AR. That system actually got bought out by Apple for an undisclosed amount in May 28th. So by the way, when you don't build it, your clients don't come. So we had to go to the next best one, which is out of Italy now, so the translation's actually kind of fun. So my Spanish to their Italian. Beautiful. We're trying to get it developed a little further so that we're in control of that, so we don't have anybody else. Because I fully suspect Google's going to end up developing theirs, and then somebody's going to buy out this other system that we're working with. I can show you guys over here.
So how can we as a community help you build this, grow this, and dominate this market?
Projects, friends of projects. Any projects that you have out there, any size, right now we'll work with it. It doesn't matter how small it is. You know, a closet addition, we're willing to put it in there. You'd be amazed at how many clients don't understand how big that closet's not going to be. My shoes don't work. It must have been the architect's fault. Just projects. So if you guys can get us introduced, or you have a project you're interested in looking at, we're happy to develop it with you. We'll figure out some time. Thank you all very much.
Just wanted to say thanks again for coming to 1 Million Cups. A couple quick announcements. Tomorrow night is Tech Jam down in Ybor City. Check it out. Should be a good time. Start Grind is the 26th and Night is the 27th. TEDx is the 5th. Tech Talk is going to be on the 8th. And then Fall 2015 Entrepreneurial Academy will be from the 14th of September until November 16th. If you've got any question about any of those events, feel free to speak to one of the organizers. Also, for coming to 1 Million Cups, you can co-work down at Tech Garage for free today. It's about 2 blocks down from here. If you have any questions about that, come see me too. Have a great day. See you guys next week.